Israel, acquittal, and Wall Street bets. Oh my. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Daily Update for Sunday, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. It's so nice to be here with y'all. And, of course, today's update, first part, will be brought to you by our friends at Family Farms, who continue to help us educate farmers to help them put themselves in the best position while protecting their assets and protecting their farms. And, of course, one of these days we'll get out with them on the road. But for now, we've had a few small trips, but with this COVID, it's still problematic. In the meantime, okay, we got a crazy world out there, and of course, the crypto space continues to be on fire for whatever reason. Of course, I do know the reason. It is the libertarian way of thinking, and it is people that are getting sick and tired of central bank stealing, I guess we'll call it, because we are setting the stage, okay, for hyperinflation. We are setting the stage for a disaster. And if you think I'm kidding, okay, just take a look at the bond market, okay, and you just ask yourself this question, okay, if the Fed, okay, or if the Federal Reserve is buying X amount every month, why are the notes and bonds getting crushed? Okay, that is a message, because one thing you'll want to remember, the notes and bond markets, the fixed income markets, are the biggest markets in the world. Okay, by far, probably bigger than all markets put together. So they're certainly sending a message, and although you cannot fight the Fed, you cannot fight the tape, the one group that does have an opportunity or a chance would be the bond market, okay, the fixed income market, because they are pretty big. So we'll see. And again, we're not predicting anything. We're just saying that that's something to watch out for. But of course, yesterday, President Trump, or ex-President Trump, former, whatever you call him, okay, was acquitted, which just goes to show how much we enjoy wasting our taxpayer dollars. Okay, just another waste of time, as most of them are, and of course, as Clinton's was back in whatever 90, whatever it was. But in the meantime, again, this is just the Senate and the Congress showing us how much money they can throw in the garbage can and do nothing, but yet they want to continue to get bigger and get bigger government. Well, I guess when you have you're getting all that free money and you're getting all those benefits that we don't get, why not, right? Let's keep making government bigger, okay? Let's just destroy every industry, okay? And make sure that we capture everybody's cash, okay? And get ready for the big government, because that's what you can see. You can see the handwriting on the wall, okay? You can see they're trying to move to a digital currency globally. So disaster is being written as we speak, and of course, let them continue to try to erase history. Okay, and of course, our new commander-in-chief, let him stay moderate. If he gets too far to the left, it'll be good night, Gracie. But interesting. Okay, Israel is an extremely important ally of the United States. Very strategic, has done a lot of good things for us over time. Of course, President Trump did do what was requested years and years and years and years ago, which is move it to Jerusalem, the capital. But realized that our current president, has not reached out to Israel yet. Okay. Now, one would think, since he's reached out to every other world leader, he would have reached out to Israel as well. But, again, that continues to show, okay, I would say probably the hatred and things that are going on. So we can talk what we want about everything going on. But here is the leader of the free world not reaching out to one of the main allies, okay, and having a conversation like he has done with almost every other major power in the world. Now, what are your thoughts on that? I know what mine are, but again, we won't get too deep on the wool here. But there are so many things going on, and of course, the shutting down of the pipeline through South Dakota. Are we watching? Have you been watching oil prices? Okay, are we watching the Fed continues to spew the crap that we don't have any inflation? Okay, I don't know about you, but it costs money. Okay, and especially with the rising costs of housing now. Okay, of course, they've systematically destroyed the free market system. Okay, they have systematically destroyed the place where asset classes will price themselves, because the free money train. Now, how many of you out there, okay, average guys gals on the street, okay, will benefit from all this cheap money, other than the potential of potentially buying a house that will be extremely overvalued, but you'll pay less for it. But really, you're paying the same thing, which is, again, is the manipulation tool and the way that they continue to try to hide inflation through cheaper dollars. Remember, the cheaper dollars that we are using today are money, okay, that they're taking away from you. Okay, they are devaluing your spending ability as we sit here, because nothing is, unless you're 100% invested in markets, nothing is growing at the speed of the inflation that we don't have. Okay, but I assure you, if you ask any farmer or restaurateur, okay, someone who's on both sides of the buy of the goods, the produce and the sell, okay, they will all tell you that the input or the buying of goods is becoming much more expensive, okay, or in farmers' cases, the fertilizer cost, the fuel cost, but prices have not gone up as fast as the goods that they have to use. And here we are, once again, getting ready for another planting season, okay, and prices are in Pluto at the moment. So we'll see. Look, you can continue to mask and hide all you want, okay, but the real facts are we have inflation. So the lack of common sense, the book readers, I forget what the term I'm looking for, but the theory people think that everything is all well and good. And of course, look, you can't fight the market; it's going up. But overall, is it up for real or is it up artificially? And I think if you match dollar for dollar with 40 years ago, you would find out that even though you're making substantially more today than you were then, if you're lucky enough to have done that, but your cost is so much greater that you really can't even overcome what it is, which is why, now so many two-family have to work, okay? Again, I'm not saying that both parties of a family should not work, but it should be the option or the opportunity, not the have to be there. But, again, let's just keep printing more money. Let's keep making government so big, okay? And then we'll get the big inflation spike, and it'll be the end of the day. And it'll be good night, Gracie, as they say, because you'll see a savage meltdown. But it's not just a savage meltdown that I'm worried about, because listen, we can overcome that with our hedging program. But it's going to be what the damage it's going to do to everybody who's being forced into the equity market. Okay, where are you going to go? Where are you possibly going to go to invest your money that is liquid, that you can get your hands on if you need it? So we're seeing a bunch of things. And of course, again, you have OPEC back in the picture, which is obviously why oil is almost double. Okay. You've got, the borders are open, and it's not enough that California's budget already 65% goes to illegals. Okay. Let's bring in more. There's a plan worth taking. Okay, let's really destroy the American way by bringing in more illegals. Okay, that can just cross the borders and supposedly come back in 5 years. And this is not to mention what's going to happen when they try to raise the minimum wage. Okay. Now, so far, Joe Manchin State has voted against it, but eventually it'll probably pass. And you know what that means for everybody, right? It means that no longer will there be employees working at a McDonald's or a Domino's or a place like that. And not that that's your ideal job in your life, but people work part-time. Kids, that's where kids get experience in the working world. Well, guess what? They've already got equipment that they can run a Domino's pizza with one person if they wanted to. Now, you typically would have two because you like a backup. You'd like someone there to, in case something goes wrong. But they don't need more than two because they have machines that for about $75,000 can make the pizza, cook it, do everything, including box it. Okay, all done for about $70,000. Well, look, you want to go automation, which is what they're really forcing. They're forcing the world of automation and forcing people out of a job because companies cannot afford the minimum wage hike. Okay. But of course, if we use the proper method, the method that this country was built on, which is price discovery and asset classes pricing themselves, which in a human worker is an asset class to a company, we might be having this conversation. You've already seen it in McDonald's. You've seen a lot of experimental things going on from the iPads or whatever in the McDonald's where you order and there's one third person to pick it up. They have a cook and a cashier. Okay. And, you're only going to get more of this as you continue to try to force an employer to pay more money, okay, than is needed. Because you cannot operate if you work on a thin budget to begin with, and if you work on a thin margin to begin with, okay, then you cannot afford to be giving up the extra. And it's not only the 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 6, whatever the amount is per hour. It is the taxes that go along with that. It is the Social Security tax, the unemployment insurance tax. So an employee that's making $15 is really making like $22. Okay, so again, you're going to just put these employees out of business and have more people on the company payroll, which I guess is what we're looking for. I guess that's what this new rogue government wants. Okay, is to destroy every small business and put everybody on the company payroll sitting at home. I'm sure the talk of universal income will be coming next. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, the 14th. It is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And, as always, we are brought to you by a couple of our brokerage partners. And, of course, we do have other brokers, to be clear. Okay. But our preferred partners for futures and commodities is the CTG Group. And listen, as I tell you, they are an independently owned company. They're very customer service oriented. They're the only ones that we've licensed to handle our letter of direction trading. Okay. And they give you great customer service, and they will help you from the beginning to the end. And they never, they're always answer the phone. And they also have some great managed futures products. You may want to check them out. Look, bottom line is all my accounts are with them because they do a great job. Okay. And so they trade my portfolios as well. And for equities and options, there is nothing like Tradier. Okay. Tradier is, first of all, again, is the simplest thing to say is it's $10 a month. Okay. And it's funny because I did a hedging webinar yesterday, which if you'd like to record, you can get to it. But, right now you have the ability. You don't have to. There is no requirement to automatic trading or to auto trading. But if you want the availability, we now have the availability to auto trade our portfolios, to automatically trade our hedging stuff. And the beautiful part is you get to set up the specs that you want it to trade to. So it will follow our formulas based on your specs, and that's all with Tradier. Okay. Plus, they've given you a free 6-session options training webinar, which was very comprehensive. Okay. And, I'm sure that they're going to eventually offer the recordings out to those who weren't there because I did record them all as well. And then, of course, our commodity report with Andy Hecht, as I tell you all the time, there's nothing like this report, and you tie it with our algorithms. Okay, you should see these portfolios. But his calls in these markets, because he's an experienced 40-year trader that has been traveled throughout the world trading physical commodities as well as paper. And he understands the business, so he puts together when it comes, and of course he's using his data combined with technicals and giving you some potential recommendations. Anyways, it's called Technomental. And of course, our high school program, which is at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. It's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. And just to remind you once again, yesterday I did our hedging presentation webinar. We had a great turnout and a great amount of new members. But there's a few spots left, and if you'd like to check it out, I'll be happy to send you the recording. All you have to do is email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com, and I'll be happy to share that information with you. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with, of course, me, Todd Bubba Horowitz, in our market segment. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line Sunday, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. And, this segment is brought to you by our friends at Tradier. Okay, again, they are, as far as I'm concerned, okay, now again, I have other brokers. I have an account at Thinkorswim. I have an account at Schwab's. Just, again, I'm giving you full disclosure. But just so you understand, okay, for $10 a month, okay, how can I pass it up? Okay, that's always the question I have to ask you is how can I possibly pass that up? I mean, I'm saving $100,000 a year in commission. Okay. In the meantime, they've got great customer service. We've got their API, which is, which allows us to automate if you choose. You don't have to, but it's a method that many would prefer to have if they could. And of course, the free options training session. So what the hell? In the meantime, okay, markets, there's no top. We're going to go up forever. We may go to Pluto. Who knows? Okay, you can call it whatever you want. Irrational exuberance. You can call it a bubble, which it is a bubble. But look at, we know it's a bubble, but that doesn't mean the bubble has to pop anytime soon. Okay, free money. Okay, remember the big benefactors of this whole market move are the very wealthy. Why? Because they can borrow it, let's say 2.25, whatever, and then they can take all that money and put it back to work for them, and where they can churn in 10%, okay, 8%. So is that a good trade? I think so. 2 for 8, okay, and that is exactly what they're doing. They're with the fractional banking laws being changed, and banks being able to basically print money at will as well. Because again, remember, when you're borrowing money, if the bank has the right, or used to be 10-1, okay, fractional banking. Now there is no limit, okay. But if it was 10-1, remember they're printing $10 for every $1 they own when they lend it out. So they are really, in the same sense, creating more money, okay, which is just more devaluing your currency. And that's, of course, when you have a fiat currency system, it allows for a lot of BS criminality that can go on and a lot of manipulation. So in the meantime, the markets are soaring, and we are long. We're still long. We have not changed our position. We've been long. We're staying long. Now, the only good news is, by the move on Friday, the spike at the end of the day was so fast and so big, all we'll do is pull up our potential stops for the algorithm to reverse them sooner. So that's the good news, okay? Because again, we're going to benefit greatly when they reverse as well, because we're going to get a big down move at some point, and of course it's not going to be in one day, so we'll be able to participate plenty, and it'll be a pleasure to see, just because I want to buy some more stock in my hedging portfolios with the down markets. But at the end of the day, markets are going higher. It's a bull market. It has not changed, and those who are trying to sell it keep licking their wounds. And of course, it brings us to the Wall Street bets thing. We saw some action again. They thought about silver, and they attempted it last Sunday night, if you recall. Okay. But of course, I told everybody to remain calm, leave it alone, let it trade, and we'll see. And of course, Tuesday, right back in the toilet. Okay. Now, we are now long silver. Okay. But again, the news then came out, it was fake news about Wall Street bets. Well, we'll see. I think, take a look at some of the pot stocks. I think they're trying to do a lot of maneuvering, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. In the meantime, okay, the metals, we are still short gold, okay, which was slightly higher for the week. We got long silver on Tuesday, Okay, and we've been long platinum all along, which has actually made 6-year highs. So we're in pretty good shape, and gold and silver look like they're going in opposite directions, and that would be the exact thing. And of course, the ratio of gold to silver, it was as high over the summer as 120, is now down to under 70, which is the lowest it's been in quite a while, which indicates there's probably some more buying coming in the metals. The bonds and notes that we mentioned in the opening, look, they were flattish to lower last week, but they have been pummeled, okay? And it makes absolutely no sense because lower bond prices mean higher interest rates, and interest rates are not going up, okay? So it's a weird anomaly that is taking place, and we'll see how it plays out right now. But right now, it is not, and you can't do anything about it right now. It is something to think about. Again, remember, you just want to think about things. You don't want to act until the price tells you to act. Okay. Natural gas, a little bit higher last week, but it kind of came in towards the end of the week. The weather has been affecting the spike, and it looks like it's going to trigger a chat at $3. We're still long it. Okay. Copper, I mean, ridiculous. It isn't ridiculous. The price is price, right? It just keeps going up. We actually had to reverse copper for like one or 2 days, and we had to get right back in again because it continues to defy any odds, any logic. But of course, with housing at these amazing paces of building, okay, what do we see? Well, that's what you're creating. Okay, now again, that's being created by what? The money. So it all ties back, which is what makes it more of a bubble. And all we have to do is go back to the greatest bubble builder of them all, Mr. Greenspan, okay, and see how they've improved on screwing things up. Okay, now crude is almost doubled since March, or actually, I apologize. It's almost doubled since the election. Excuse me. Okay. Now, of course, that makes a lot of sense because we've got OPEC to deal with now, and of course, they're only going to hold us up. I mean, again, if you don't remember the 70s and the 80s, what they were doing, okay, when they got oil to go up in the first place, they're going to create shortages. You can bet on it. Okay, and since we're not going to be prepared to do anything with it, because God forbid that we would keep our people employed. God forbid we should be a manufacturing in a sector and not only services. But look, this is what they want. This is what they're going to get. Okay, but obviously destroying a bunch of business again, very similar to the natural gas era, or excuse me, the coal era. My apologies. Okay, when President Obama just said, "You're out of business, goodbye," and that was it. Okay, without giving any warning. So look, that's why you can see, and I never thought we'd see oil at 100 again. You could see oil at 100 sooner than later. Okay, you've got some issues to deal with here as well, and of course the dollar, which we are still long, and we're still long oil as well. The dollar, we're still long. Look, it had a rough week. I think it's one down day from reversing to the short side. It looks bad, and of course, you've got this whole game of manipulation with these currencies. So the battle is the battle for the bottom, okay, and it's really the battle to get to. I really believe a digital type of currency. I think that's what they're shooting for. Okay. In the meantime, the grain markets were interesting. Okay, now we're still long grains, and I'm still bullish grains, but I think when you look at them, okay, I mean they had a pretty wild week, but soybeans actually closed about flat for the week. So they had a big wide range, as did corn and wheat. But soybeans closed basically flat for last week at like 1371. Corn was lower, but it closed like probably dead in the middle of its range, which was about 50 cents, which is gigantic. Okay? And wheat closed right on the dead nuts bottom at some support. Okay, so we'll see. Now again, as I mentioned, on Tuesday's update when I did it, that WASDE was being over calculated into this market because it was a bullish report. But at the end of the day, okay, there's only so much they'd already this is what happens all the time. That's why we talk about buy the rumor, sell the news, watch the price action for just those reasons. Because I made the call that I would be short, as a trader. I'm going to keep my long position because, that's what the algorithm, but for a short-term trade, I would take a short position. Okay. And we see the benefit of understanding how to read price action and understanding that the actual news itself means nothing. Okay. Because the news plays out well before the actual market action. I was having a conversation or a battle with somebody on my webinar yesterday about this thing, but I didn't have enough time to go through it all. But basically, the price will tell you ahead of time if there's news. You can bet on it. okay, because somebody knows before you do, okay? And the meats look really good, okay, up across the board. Hogs exploded, okay? Cattle, feeder and fed cattle continue to go higher, which is, look, we expect them to go higher, okay? I think, as I said to you before, I think they've set up just like the grain markets, okay? And of course, the softs, we're still, cotton made, new highs. We're long cotton. We're short OJ. We're now short coffee, okay, as of Friday. We're still long sugar, which made new highs as well. And we're still short cocoa. So these are what's going on. And look, you got cryptocurrencies going bananas, okay? You got, my favorite one, which happens to be Stellar Lumens, was I bought in, I don't know, 15 or 10, 9 cents, whatever it was. It's like 60 cents now, okay? If this isn't bubble territory, who knows what it is? In the meantime, Bitcoin got close to 50,000, okay? And so we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But right now, it looks like they're just going to keep going up. In the meantime, we'll step out of here for a break and be back with my commentary after the break. This is Bubba's Bottom Line on this Valentine's Day. We'll be right back. So our other brokerage partner, remember, is, of course, the CTG Group. Okay. And look, end of the day, they have great customer service. Okay. I let them trade. I had them trade my accounts for me, letter of direction. Okay. And I have multiple with them. I have other accounts elsewhere, but they're where I do predominantly my trading. Okay. They do all of my algorithm trading and letter of direction trading because I do trade right with my own members. Okay. Same time, we do block trades. But in the meantime, look, they're a phenomenal organization. They have great customer service. And they've got some real good products as well from a managed money standpoint. So, just keep an eye on it. And again, if you don't want to switch, hey, nobody's making you do anything. It's just if you want to do letter of direction, that's where it's going to be. But certainly you can do it on your own. We have no problem with that either. And of course, our partners at Family Farms, they're really such a great organization. And I'm really sorry that the new event's got to be virtual. I was looking forward to the Calcutta, but they do a great job. And we have the same goals. We want to educate farmers to protect all their assets, but especially with their growing, because that's where their risk is. They're already borrowing money and debt up to the eyeballs. Okay. And they're going to need a good year this year. So in the meantime, we try to help them defend against that and give them the proper ways to hedge. In our commodity report with Andy Heck, Technomental, look, there's nothing like it. Okay. Check it out. And if you want to see it last week's copy, shoot me an email. I'll send you last week's copy. And of course, yesterday I did a webinar on hedging, which, you're going to need to be hedged at some point. And I always ask the question during the hedging webinar, you buying health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, home insurance, why wouldn't you insure your money? But anyways, you want to see a recording? Certainly. Just shoot me an email at bubba@bubbatrading.com. And of course, our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. It's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Valentine's Day. And of course, every week I got something to say. And, I found it interesting this week, that Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, has decided not to play the national anthem before sporting events, before the Mavs tip-off. And I'm wondering, what is the logic behind that? It is something that we have done forever, okay? We are Americans. This is America, okay? Okay, but of course, the NBA and its owners and players, they live by a separate code, okay? Because, as nobody cares about the worst human rights in the world, which is in China, because it brings them such big money, okay? Here, they're kind of kowtowing to China and to other movements that are against the American flag. And of course, there's been movements going on, but it's amazing how the NBA and guys like Mark Cuban, okay, always end up on the side which makes them the most money. Okay. Again, I have no problem making money, but certainly, okay, there's got to be some equilibrium here somewhere. Okay. So if you're going to do a lot of business and make a lot of money from the country that supports the worst human rights in the world, okay, and you're going to come here and then also bash America, what do you want? Okay. One GM did comment about China, he got fired. So it just shows you that it's not a statement of anything but money, okay? Which, again, I have no problem making money, but at what cost? And I think that's the bigger issue. And you tie that in with, Biden not contacting Israel. Okay, you're cruising for some much bigger problems on the road, because at some point there will be some rebellion. So again, I think that it's distasteful and disgraceful that they decide not to play the national anthem before the Dallas Mavericks games. In the meantime, everybody have a great week. Have a great Valentine's Day. And we'll see you back here. No markets tomorrow because it is President's Day, right? President's Day. It's a holiday, whatever it is. I think it's President's Day tomorrow. Okay. And now the markets will be open tonight. Okay. They will open. Now, not all will be open, but the equity will certainly open. So there might be some action, but they're open tomorrow morning through Globex. But the official reopening will be Tuesday morning. So we'll see you back here on Tuesday with another Bubba's Day update. In the meantime, have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. And thanks as always. We'll see you next time.